Hello, good morning. It's definitely morning here, even though it's his late morning. Welcome to What Thad Thinks, the number one podcast online discussing exactly what I think. And among all the podcasts in the world that want to know what I think, this is the number one four-time online champion of that title. So I welcome you to that this week. As always, we are sponsored by Better Beans Branding, the number one school and childcare design, branding, and construction company in the country. I want to thank again from this past week all the encourager text messages, different things I get from time to time from our listeners, emails that come across of people that are really enjoying watching this. An interesting one this week is a friend at the baseball fields that have discovered this podcast. And as I'm coaching games, he likes to let me know what he's enjoying or what he wants to hear about. So he was very concerned a couple of weeks ago about mine and Neel's relationship, and my wife had to jump in and ensure him that Neel and I, do love each other. At the end of the day, do not tell Neel that part. He's not on the show yet, so please don't tell him that I love him. We want to keep him in the dark about that. But I want to thank all those encouragers that come across. And I will give a quick little front of the podcast shout out to Chris Cochran over at Nally BMW. I'm telling you, if you need a new or used BMW or used any car and need someone in the Atlanta area, reach out to Chris Cochran over at Nally BMW, see if he can't help you out. Two different people asked me over the last couple of weeks for a reference for someone that could help them find a car. And he's one of the best I know. So reach out to him if that's the case. Anyway, that was a long introduction today about random stuff, but welcome to What That Thinks. And without further ado, let's bring on the guy we don't care about, Nielsen Gupta. Where are you at, Neel?
Hello, hello.
Neel,
Yes, sir.
why are you wearing a hat?
See, I didn't think you'd pick up on that. The last time you saw me, I had my soul
I mean, you're in
passion.
a collared button-down shirt, which usually only bald men will wear a hat with a collared button-down shirt. So I'm guessing you're still bald.
It hasn't gone.
Let's see. Show me the proof. All the way. Oh my God. Take it all the way off. Show our listeners. Oh my God, Neel. What did you do?
What do you mean?
You typically have more hair than that. Did you lose more?
I tried a different guard, a different edge.
Mm.
When I next see you, feel free to touch it. Look at that shine. It's beautiful.
It's got a beautiful shine. It's a beautiful shine. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but just from pictures, it is very bald. Like you are favoring Gandhi right now.
I look like my grandpa, I think.
Oh, yeah? Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
My ears are getting bigger and my head is getting less hair.
What was your granddad's name? Wow.
Yeah. We won't show that one to my dad.
Please don't. My granddad's name is Frank, and I will tell you, he was my hero. You know, I named my son after me, but that was a compromise with my wife because I really wanted to name him after my granddaddy Frank. Emily could not picture a baby named Frank. She goes, "Oh," she was crying like, no way was my baby boy gonna be named Frank. There's no baby named Frank. Anyway, I
Is
still
that your
love the name
maternal
Frank.
grandfather, your mom's dad, or
Yeah,
dad's
my
dad?
mom's dad. My dad's dad, I just never knew him because he died when my dad was 3. But, he's got a bald story, Neel.
He was young then.
He was in his 40s, yeah. So get this, Neel. You wanna know a funny story about my granddad on that
Mhm.
side, who I never met, obviously. But his nickname was Red. They called him Red, and it was because he had red hair, real original. But the funny thing about Granddaddy Red, as the story goes, the only pictures we have of him, as a dad, like holding my dad, was he was completely bald. But the story goes is that he went to the University of Georgia to play football, and as a freshman, they shaved all the freshmen's heads. And his nickname was already Red. Everybody called him Red. But they shaved his head and it never grew back. So he was a bald guy through college that they called Red, which I think's hilarious.
That's a great story.
That's the story, yeah. So anyway, you have no hair, own it. Red had no hair. I, however, I'm wearing a hat. As I told Piper as she came in this morning, I have not gone to hair and makeup today. I was scrambling when I woke up today. I got in about 2 a.m., which is odd for a weeknight, but I was traveling and decided to make the drive all the way back last night so I didn't have to do it early this morning. And boy, I rolled in about 2 a.m., got yelled at by my wife for waking her up. I mean, look. If I would have like decided to sleep on the couch or something, not or in another bedroom to not wake her up, I would have gotten in trouble for that too.
Correct.
Yeah,
That is
so
correct.
I think it was just like I came home at 2 in the morning and I was gonna be in trouble regardless of what I did.
Yeah. Sorry, wife.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk. I've
I've
got
been
something
waiting
on my
on you.
mind.
I don't know what you're doing. You just wanna sit here, you don't know what you're doing. You have one segment that you're responsible for, okay?
Well, our segues are a little odd.
It's not our. You have no
Oh,
idea how
I
to
own the
take it and
segue.
run,
From now on, I own the segue. Done. Hey, I got something on my mind. Let's talk government shutdown.
okay?
Ridiculous where we are here at a record, by the way, record number of days. I believe we're well over the 40 mark and no end in sight. And there's a lot of impact, a lot of effect here. Want to hear about some of it? I'm going to tell you. You've got,
Man, when you bow your head like this,
I give you the
I mean,
brightness.
whoa, the light. Go ahead.
Yeah, you've got billions of dollars in SBA delayed funding. You've got many hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers. You've got massive declines in states' general gross product and really bickering about things amongst both parties. And it's tiring and shouldn't be this way. They have a responsibility to come to an agreement. If you were a senator or congressman, I'd love to hear how you might bring us together to solve this issue.
Well, first off, I mean, this is just politicians being politicians. I think this goes back to last week when I said I'm sick of hearings and I'm ready for doings. Right? I'm sick of each party calling the other party in to like grill them on issues just so they can get their talking points. They're not even listening to the answers, nor do they care. They just want to get their point out so they can put it on their political ad when they run again. And I'm tired of hearings. I want some doings, and I'm going to keep saying that. The second thing is the government shutdown. It ought to be against the law pretty much to shut the government down. You know, I guess that's probably not completely true because things have to be funded for it to go, and we need to get funding through. But like, you know, in my mind, the politicians should be working 24 hours a day to open the government.
Guaranteed they're not.
Well, no. I mean, you know, one of the biggest issues was the filibuster, right? You don't have to do a real filibuster to keep this going. One reason the government shutdown is continuing to run on and on and on and on is that you don't have to be standing there and talking for the whole time anymore. Like it used to force you to be there and listen to someone filibuster.
Well, yeah.
That's why it's going on longer and longer and they're not coming to a decision is because they don't have to sit there and be in session to do it. Okay, so without, you know, opening up 5 million cans of worms on that, how do you get people together is first off, from an average citizen's point of view, is that we should be calling our daggum politicians, tell them to open the damn government up, right? So how many emails have you sent, Neil, to your rep or to one of your senators? None. Okay. Well, that doesn't help. So why haven't we done anything about it? I hear a lot of people protesting and saying democracy and of the people and whatever. And I'd love to see how many emails to their direct congressman they have sent or phone calls they've made to their offices. If I was a congressman like or a senator, how would I get us back? I'd be doing the same thing. And I don't know that they're not, so I can't say that. But I would be calling everybody, you know, all 99 other senators than me, all 218 or however many House of Reps there are. I'd be calling every one of them and telling them, hey, man, let's get in here and get this thing done. Why aren't you doing it? And if they're not answering me, I mean, I'm putting them on the record. And if they want to answer me, I'm going to go on everybody's podcast and say, look, he won't even get online. He'll only do his own press conference and say that this is Jim Crow 2.0 and this is going to disenfranchise people from voting, which is the dumbest thing. Like, I can't believe that people in this country are falling for thinking this is that people can't get IDs in this country. I can't believe people fall for that kind of crap. But anyway, I'd be fighting this tooth and nail to say you should lock them all in a room and make them come up with a damn decision. And if I was the president, I think that's what I'd be doing.
You'd demand it. Okay.
They wouldn't have to listen to me, but that's what I'd be doing. And every day I'd be like, look, the Republicans are in the room. Y'all get in there and y'all make a decision. Don't leave till y'all compromise and figure something out. I mean, everybody can be a keyboard warrior and argue with people online. Everybody can do it from afar. But you put two people in a room, they'll be cordial and they'll figure something out. They'll figure out a solution. But they don't understand that they are hurting other people.
This is a deep topic, but I want to talk about war with Iran, the topic of war in general.
We haven't declared war on Iran.
What have we declared?
We haven't declared anything. We're executing a military operation.
Okay.
This ain't war. It's almost disrespectful of what war is. I mean, first off, war has to be declared by Congress. The president would meet with them, put it in forward, and get Congress to approve going to war. And that opens up a whole new financial means. And I may not be intelligent enough to speak on everything that entails, but
Mhm.
we haven't declared war on anybody. This is not a war. Let's be clear on that.
Congress is not calling it a war, and they have the power to do so, so it's not a war. That's what you said,
The
right?
United States government has to declare war. Would you like to just do a quick Google search and just so you know this is not
Mm,
my take? I know you're Canadian, but here, hold on, just let me
uh,
just hit this out. The Constitution grants Congress the sole power to declare war. Okay?
okay. They have not done that. I
Yes.
want to talk about Operation Epic Fury.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
So we have a major military operation. There's a
Yes.
lot out there. We've talked about it 2 weeks ago. And I would like to better understand, the Reagan doctrine of peace through military strength seems to apply here. And I feel like that there is not alignment in our country on this topic.
Okay. Well, I don't know that you've read or watched enough to even understand what you're talking about here, but every president, Trump, Biden, Obama, Clinton, Bush, all of them had similar military actions. You know what I mean? Over and over again. Yeah, we don't have agreement in this country. We're never going to agree. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. All the anti-Trumpers out there are just anti-Trump. It doesn't matter. I mean, he could say the sky is blue today, and they would get pissed and send pictures of the sunsets being orange and pink, and say that this guy's an idiot. That's what would happen over and over again, right? So, is Iran evil, Neil?
Yes.
Have they killed tens of thousands of their own people?
Yes.
Do they keep women in a place that would be abhorrent to the rest of us, and they have almost no rights?
Yes.
How do they treat homosexuals?
But with no rights.
They
Kill
murder them.
Kill. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now let's move on from there. What do they say that they would like to do to America?
Death.
How many people in America are always saying death to Iran?
I don't know anyone.
Have you ever heard it?
No.
Do we feel that way about their people? No. As a mostly Christian country, or a country with Christian morals on most major subjects, that would never be what we thought about other people. We always want the best for them, and to show love to them, and to treat our neighbors as we would ourselves. That's the way we all feel. I mean, the vast majority of us feel, right?
Mhm.
So what do they say about our strongest ally in the Middle East? What do they say?
Well, the same. Death.
Death to Israel, death to the Jews,
Yeah, end it.
correct?
Yeah, wipe Israel off the map.
Okay. So knowing all of those things, and that they have nuclear capabilities, what if they were getting ready to launch a nuclear bomb at Israel, or at us, or at Saudi Arabia, right? What if they were
Mhm.
getting ready to do that? Would we show the world that we knew that, and come on to CBS News and say, look at this, they were getting ready to launch this bomb at us? What would happen if you went on CBS News and said, here's the evidence, we saw it, they were getting ready to launch a nuclear bomb at us? What panic in the world
Yeah,
would we
that's a great
have?
word. That's a great word.
It
Sheer
would be
pandemonium.
awful. Yes. People in this country think they have the right to know everything. You have the right to know nothing. You elect people to make these decisions. Period. And you have to trust. Period. That's it. Now, you can protest, you can disagree, you can do those types of things from time to time, right? But at the end of the day, you have no right to know. There is no inalienable right to know what our government is thinking. And I'll be honest, we don't need to know. We don't need to know. There would be massive panic. So I don't know if this is what you're asking me, but my take on Operation Epic Fury is everybody needs to do what I told you to do at the beginning of this conversation, is shut your mouths unless you're praying for the 6 people we've lost so far. Shut your mouths unless you're sitting here going to say, God bless America. I hope we get this over quick and come home quick, and I hope it's super successful. But I can tell you that we probably got about 30 to 50% of this country hoping this is a failure.
That's disgusting.
What do you mean it's disgusting?
I
You know it.
I
How many people do you think want Trump to end up with egg on his face over this decision?
But that's a problem. Okay, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a veteran, but I would never. I mean, if Joe Biden is our commander in chief, whether he's old and goofy and half out of it brain wise, Man, I want whatever he says to do to work, especially when it concerns military operations. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we have millions of people that lay their lives on the line for us every day, carrying out missions that we have no clue about, nor no clue why we're in it. And people like to say, well, in Iraq, they said we had weapons of mass destruction and we never found the weapons of mass destruction. Hey, man, how the hell do you know? It's almost like that
because the
employee
media
that
told me
you
so.
gets fired. You know, that employee that gets fired and then they go to some customer and say, look, they fired me for no reason. Those guys are up there. They're just trying to make more money. They're just trying to do stuff. And then that customer comes to the company and says, hey, we heard you fired him because of this and this and this. And you can't say the real reason you fired him.
Understood.
You know, you just have to take it because you're not allowed to share. We don't get to share. Yeah, we found weapons of mass destruction. They were getting ready to drop mustard gas, on Great Britain through the subway system. I mean, we're not, then nobody takes the subway. Like, you can't share that stuff. It's nobody's business. And there's so many ripple effects to it. Honestly, like, how many people do you run into every day or that you know in your life that you think are smart enough and emotionally capable enough to handle all of these situations or to understand how many different things it would affect? Like, how many people do
I
you
don't
know that are
kn Neil does not know anyone. So, but
you know
that
at
is a
least
very
one?
small group of people that can do that with the intelligence that's required.
Yes, and training that's required, and the background and the education that's required. Like, it's just come on, man. I mean, just you know what? Hang your American flag out in front of your house. Say a prayer for the soldiers every night, or send a good thought, or send a care package to somebody, and pray that everything goes great. We come home soon. That's what I think about Operation Epic Fury. I also think it's pretty damn incredible the technology and kind of how war is going, and really glad people made fun of President Trump for Space Force when he established it. But holy crap,
Not
man,
right now. Yes.
genius,
Pretty forward looking.
genius move. I know it wasn't his, but I mean nobody else did it. How about that? So
I did not know that it wasn't his. I thought it was. Well,
what?
pretty
I'm sure.
forward
No, I'm
looking.
saying I'm sure there's been that idea. Smart people behind the scenes came up with that idea
Gotcha.
probably
Gotcha.
over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna get off of heavy and deep to talk about something else. I know this one's near and dear to you. It's almost Major League Baseball time, but you know what's going on now? The World Baseball Classic.
Oh, the World Baseball Classic, right on the heels of the Olympics. It's so awesome. I mean, first off, it looks like Canada's going to make the bracket.
Yeah.
So
Surprise,
that's good.
surprising.
That's congratulations to Canada. They were in the easiest side of the bracket and they're going to come out with one loss. Thank God they weren't in America's pool or the Dominican Republic's pool or Japan's pool because they would probably be pack and
Ooh,
tail. But that was
Japan.
okay. Canada gets in, makes everybody happy. There's a lot of fans in Canada, especially with Toronto being such a great franchise in Major League Baseball, and they are a great
Yeah.
franchise in Major League Baseball. So I will say that, but I will quickly move on from that. There's nothing more fun in the World Baseball Classic than watching the Caribbean teams play. They
Mm.
play the game with more joy and energy and fun than I've ever seen people play. And it almost makes me want to be a fan of the Dominican or Venezuela or Panama or Cuba. I mean, these guys just love their country and their teams, and they play baseball the right way. They're unbelievably talented, and they have so much freaking fun. So much fun.
This is not a direction I thought you would talk about today.
Why?
And I know you love baseball. I didn't think that you're watching it from that perspective of the other team.
Oh my God, they
Um,
have so much fun. That's one of the reasons why I
I
love to watch
watched
it.
last night when this is a it's Thursday, so I'm watching a Wednesday night game with two teams that I have no interest in, Mexico and Italy put the stomp on Mexico, and
Thank
I was
God, or
shocked.
America wouldn't have gotten in.
Yeah.
What a debacle by the USA coach, Mark DeRosa.
Don't know. Talk about that. What's that?
Oh, really? Okay, so
No.
Mark DeRosa, he former Major League
Former
Baseball
Brave,
player.
right?
Yeah, played for the Braves some. I'm pretty sure he's an Ivy League guy. Like I
Mm.
think he went to like Penn or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he went to Penn. Now, do we even count Penn as the Ivy League? I mean, no offense to all my Penn grads out there, but that's not the one you think about. Um,
Business school.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's coming from a guy with no degree. But anyway, he went on an interview before we played Italy in pool play and just said, "Hey, yeah, we've already punched our ticket into the elimination round." That wasn't true. And he found out after we got our butts handed to us by Italy that night, and he kind of didn't put in some of his starters, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. And we got our butts stomped and beat so bad that we were facing elimination last night. had Mexico beaten Italy, we were facing elimination. That's pretty
Yeah.
scary. But what an embarrassment. I mean, listen, I coached, travel baseball at a high level for, however many years. My God, man, I had 3 parents and 2 coaches and a team mom that could have told you every tournament possibility known to man. Every
Really.
time you win or lose, they're trying to figure out the bracket for you and who you're going to play and what time you're going to play and what field you're going to have to play in and where you're going to have to drive to for every game and every round. How the hell are we playing the biggest baseball tournament in the world and we don't have someone feeding Team USA's coach the info about where we would go? I mean, I would get 10 emails from parents saying, we're going to play here, here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. If this happens and you score 3 runs, pretty damn embarrassing for an Ivy League grad and a head coach not to know his scenarios and not to fill out his lineup card properly based on the need or not need to win that game. So, yeah, I was overall a little embarrassed for him, embarrassing moment for our country as we're
Mhm.
playing the most fun baseball tournament in the world. And in DeRosa's defense, he got the best players that America's ever gotten to go play for them to leave spring training and go play. We usually don't get the best of the best, but we did this time. And I'm proud of him for putting that recruiting effort together. Never make that mistake again. Know your situations. And I guess that's going to be a great thing as we want to kind of segue into our topic this week. We've got part 2 this week of Strong Leaders Lead from Strength, and it's a 3-part series that we started last episode. And, and I told you we were kind of skipping over what should have made it a 4-part series. I told you last week we were going to skip the core values. Strong leaders have core values and the strong leaders have a mission. Remember that core values are kind of your company's absolute truths. They're your Bible. They're the things you lead from, your morals, your character as a company, the things you're going to filter your decisions through. That's your core values. We're not going to talk about that, but I'm just reminding you what they are. And, they're your standards. The second part of that one would have been your mission, that your leaders and your company are laser focused on what your mission of your company is. And y'all talk about that at every meeting. And I'm going to again remind y'all on your core values and your mission. If you're not every single meeting, don't take it for granted. Make sure everybody in your organization knows your mission and can recite it by heart, and to make sure everybody knows your core values and can recite it by heart. And I'm just telling you, if you don't do that every meeting, then you're doing your whole company and your core values a disservice. It's very easy to get 6 months removed from your core values and not be able to recite them all. That's kind of like memorizing Bible verses as a young kid or something. Like, it just helps you to recall the things that you need to be using to filter your decisions through, right? That was the Strong Leaders Lead from Strength. That would have been part 1 of the series had I decided to cover it. But I think there's just a lot of info out there, so I don't want to cover that. But I did breeze through it. But last episode we did part 1, which we really dove into quality relationships. Your quality relationships will have a direct reflect on the success of you and the success of your company. And just remember, something I keep telling my kids, guys, something I told somebody I mentored this week is gone through a couple of struggles. And I went through, hey man, let's look through these 5 different types of relationships you have. And are you being intentional about those being of high quality? And those were your customers, your boss or your mentor, equals to you in the industry or at your company, your employees, and your vendors. And do you have action plans, either for every quarter or every month, just quick things that you're doing to build those relationships and make sure those are high quality? So if you didn't listen to last episode, go back and get a little deep dive on that. You can fast forward through some of the, me and Neel doing the part that we enjoyed this podcast, which is arguing with each other. You can skip over all that part, get to the meat, get what you need out of that part, because I do think it's very, very important, and people do not talk about that enough. So that's there. But we're here for part 2 today, and before we jump into part 2, Piper, roll that video for me.
In the SEAL teams, I was a breacher, all right? And when we would get a target package, I'd gather intel on the breach point. Say it's an exterior wall. I would build a bomb. I'd go back into the ready room, build a bomb specifically to breach this wall. We would go out, we would get on target. I'd be the first one in the patrol, right? I'd move up to the breach point. I'd peel the hydrogel off the back of this wall charge. It's the sticky stuff, right? I'd place the bomb on the wall. I'd cap my blasting cap in. I'd pay my det cord out back to minimum safe distance, and I would look back behind me, and I would just see a bunch of sets of green eyes, right? It was my entire team was waiting for 3 words. And these 3 words ring through my head every single morning when I get up, feeling exactly like Andy feels when he gets up. And the 3 words are execute, execute, execute. And on the 3rd execute, I would put power to that charge and all freaking hell would break loose and we would crush our enemy. And that's what people don't do. Yeah. They don't execute. Making a freaking plan is the easy part. I knew how to make the bomb. I had the intel that I needed to get into this target and accomplish my mission.
Great. As you can see, that dude is intense. And you can see why people are following him. But one thing that sticks out to me, and there's plenty, you can talk about mission. We can talk about a lot of things about following a strong leader in this and looking behind you and seeing those little green eyes. But the one part I wanted to, talk about is that, he's telling you meticulously the steps to setting off a demolition charge for a Navy SEAL team and how he peels the stuff back and how he puts it on and the words that he says, and then finally turn into his group and saying, execute, execute, execute. And those are the 3 words that he thinks about every day when his feet hit the ground out of his bed. It's execute, execute, execute. And boy, I get chill bumps when I sit here and talk about it. And when I think about the young people that are over in Iran right now or in the Persian Gulf or off the coast of wherever they are, and all the people here that are running drones or all the people that are fighting for us, like how you organize all these people to do the type of damage that we've done while keeping so many people safe and all the different things that we're having to think about. Man, I tell you what, having everybody singing from the same sheet of music, you have to do it. You have to have you have to have a strong leader, right? Number one, many strong leaders. You have to have a group of green eyes behind it that are willing to follow them through a freaking brick wall, right? And one thing about if you want to be a strong leader, then you better have knowledge of your operating systems. You and I have talked about it a lot through the years. Like one reason when we were running restaurants that I felt so confident all the time is I knew that I could do everybody's job pretty damn good. And I could train somebody to do that job. So not only to have a knowledge of the system, a knowledge of the specs. And when I say I knew how to make yeast rolls, like Neel, you and I didn't just know how to make yeast rolls. We know how to identify them when they were bad. We knew how many ounces by heart of yeast went into it. We know how many minutes that we needed to let them proof to double in size. We knew how many minutes that it cooked for. We knew how many ounces of butter to brush on top of them. You know what I mean? Like we knew every spec, which means if we had someone that wasn't doing the job, we were never scared to lose them because we knew we could hire someone else and we could train them to do the job. And everybody in my organization knew that I could do the damn job I was asking them to do.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to be a strong leader, you better have knowledge. You better keep practiced on that knowledge. And everybody in that company better know that you're an expert on it. I believe that. Now, there's some things that are so damn technical that, you may be outsourcing your knowledge on it. But for the most part, if I'm a general manager of a restaurant or I'm a director of a childcare center or regional director of a childcare center, I mean, my team is all going to know that I can be the director. I can go be a 3-year-old teacher. I can be an infant teacher. I know the proper feeding process. I know the 7 steps of changing a diaper. I know the 9 steps of opening your building. I know the chicken finger recipe that we're supposed to cook at lunch today. I know it all. I have practiced. I've done it. I spent some time. You remember we had a mentor, Neel, that made us in the restaurant business do 3 recipes a day every day with a cook. As a general manager, didn't matter how high up you were. As a regional manager, you were responsible for going around to different buildings every day and meeting with people and seeing customers and training your other managers. And you were still expected to go into the bakery and make a chocolate pie with a baker.
Yeah,
that's how you get quality
never
food.
Lost touch with the knowledge.
Yes, you want to be. Can you be a strong preacher and not know the Bible? Maybe, not really, right?
You're probably not credible if you don't know.
No. Like if I was a car salesman, right? Why am I not going to the service department and learning about all the things we do to service? Because like if I'm selling you a car, Neel, I'm going to sell you on our service. Hey, I want to take you over to the service department, introduce you to our service manager. Man, he's going to hook you up every time you need something. You just call him direct.
No one does that.
I'm just telling you how to sell cars. Wouldn't it blow you away to walk you through? And like, I showed you that. I think I showed everybody. I mean, everybody probably knows this now, but like, you get these little service videos now. Like when I drop my car off, I love the place that services my car. When I drop my car off with them, within an hour, I get a video of their inspection and the things they want to
It's
do to the
amazing.
car. And then they always have me ready on time, and they always drive me and drop me off. They always give the extra service. And if my car salesman took me and showed me that every time, it would just be, these guys care. But the more knowledge I have of our operating system, the more knowledge that the car salesman has when they want a custom part, or what happens in the service department, what happens in the warranty department when they have a warranty problem. Like, the more knowledge that the salesman has of those, the better they're going to sell the car. But for strong leaders, it's kind of why Kirby Smart and Nick Saban were such good coaches. Well, they still are great coaches and great leaders. They knew how to play defense. They knew how to get in people's butts, but they weren't afraid to get in people's butts because they had knowledge of the system.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? So
I do.
not only, let's say this, you need to know how to do it. You need to know the standard, every spec inside and out, like the recipe. Whatever we're talking about, you need to know the exact specs, how many steps, what it is, know it. You better know how to do it. You want to have the right knowledge, you better know how to do it. When he opened up that depth charge, you better have learned how to do it. You better know exactly how to do it, every step. You can teach it. You can teach the specs, and you can train it. So you can teach it to people, you can teach people the standard, and can you train it? Can you train it, quiz it, show it, demonstrate it, action step? Make sure you can do those 4 things to be able to do it. Look, knowledge is confidence. Knowledge is going to give you more confidence than you can ever imagine. Just like discipline is freedom, knowledge is confidence. The more discipline you have, the more freedom you have. Does that make sense?
I'm with you.
The more disciplined you are, that every day you wake up and you do this, this, and this, and this, that gives you the freedom of knowing some things are always in the right place and always going well, because you have the discipline that is never going to surprise you. Knowledge will give you unbelievable confidence that you can teach somebody and train somebody every day. So if you want to lead from strength and you want to be a strong leader, get the right knowledge. I'm going to jump into a part 2, section B, we'll call it. Next trait of being a strong leader is the willingness to confront. And, we did a study years ago about qualities of a great regional manager. And we found that the number one trait in a regional manager or a manager was their willingness to confront. And confront means something different. When I say confront to you, Neel, what do you think? What do you think of first?
Calling someone out.
When I say it, your first reaction is to think, is it negative?
Yes.
Okay.
Instantly.
But that's not what I mean by it. Okay. What I mean by confront is that, are you willing to confront the negative? Yes. But confront to a leader means that you're giving feedback, that you are asking questions, that you are talking about the elephant in the room, that you are stirring the pot when it needs to be stirred. You are confronting everything all the time.
Okay.
Let's say, I'll give you like a dumb one. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I hear people laughing in the background. You must be having fun at your place of work. You're fine. You're snapping?
Wait, they're loud right there.
Wow. Snap.
I mean, I'm not going to stop our podcast.
I guess you're willing to confront. I can't believe you snap at people.
I don't tend to, but there's just no way
Piper,
to stop.
does Neel snap at you?
You realize I can't hear her answer.
I know. She said, no, you don't snap. And if you ever do snap, she said that she's going to do something to your truck.
It might have been more appropriate for me to go like this.
Probably.
But moving on. Confront.
So anyways, most people think it's negative. Definitely not negative. Super positive. Let me ask you this, though. Let's say a female employee comes to work for like 2 straight days and they're dressing below what you think is your dress code. That they're wearing jeans that don't fit them very well, a shirt that's not a t-shirt, something that's not appropriate, and hair's disheveled, whatever. They just don't look put together. What are you doing? Honestly, but most men would probably ignoring it.
Yeah.
Right?
I have a go-to path on that one.
Right. But what do you think most men leaders are doing at that point?
Probably
female
more.
too, probably.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't want to have that fight on my hands.
Here's the thing. I think people appreciate you just being honest, whether they do or they don't, right? You have standards. Whatever the standards are in your company or the standards that you have as a leader, right? You're going to uphold those standards no matter what or no matter how uncomfortable they are. You know what I mean? So if you want an employee, doesn't matter if they're your gender or opposite gender, if you want them to dress to a higher standard, then you just need to tell them that. They're either going to rise to meet it or they're not, and then you can make a decision about what to do next. But you
Mm.
don't need that bubbling in your system and go, God, she looks like crap today. And then come back when that employee does it again the next day and expect it to be different. Even if it
Yeah.
is different, maybe she thinks it's okay to come in next week like that, right? So if you have a standard, you got to, whatever the standard is, you got to be willing to confront it. And I think that's really it in everything. A behavior, whatever the standard may be, the behavior could be performance standard, timeliness of work standard, work quality, use of AI, editing standards, spelling standards, communication standards. Man, to be a strong leader, you got a million things that you expect, right? And if you're a good leader, you've gotten you and your direct reports have agreed on the standard, agreed on the goal. So now when they meet it or don't meet it, you have to tell them, bad or good, all the time. That's your job all the time. Great job. I love when you do this. Great job. We wanted this. Great job. This happened. Great job. This happened. Hey, this sucks. Can't do this. But we talked about last episode, right? Quality of relationships. So Neel, I'll remind you, if you have if your quality relationship with your employee is fantastic. They know you love them, that you care about them, and they understand that you've told them that you're always going to be giving them feedback, letting them know how they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
Right or no?
Yeah. No, totally right.
Okay. So if we've already done that, when we come here, it's going to be easy to tell them something sucks and confront it because you've already told them you're going to do it and you have a great relationship, right? Most of the time, the reason you won't confront is because you didn't build that relationship. And when I say confront, let's say you have a customer that you screwed something up for them. They don't know it yet, right? When we have those, if you have that great relationship with the customer, confronting is to call them and apologize. You're not afraid to. I know a lot of people that like send out the email instead of like calling them and just like cover their head like they threw a grenade and go, oh, I hope nothing comes back on me on this. We're the good, strong leader, which we said strong leaders have a willingness to confront. Strong leaders lead from strength. Leading from strength are people that are willing to confront, always lead from strength because they're not afraid to call somebody. They may not be happy about it, but they're not afraid to call them and go, man, look, I screwed up. I'm going to be 3 weeks late. I did this. This came out the wrong standard. We screwed up. I'm so sorry. Hey, tell you what, I'm going to let you know as soon as I know more, but this is what we're going to do to fix it. Blah, blah, blah. Do you have any questions? Be nothing. Where the weak leader is like, can I give you a refund? I used to just laugh at people that always felt like they had to give refunds in the restaurant business. Whatever manager was given the most refunds, not only was their operations bad, but usually meant they were a weak leader because their way was to try to bribe customers instead of
buying it back instead of
Yeah.
and then usually the problem's not solved anyway.
No, it's not solved. They may not even come back.
I guess I'll also add to that, confronting isn't personal.
Well, no, it's not personal. And you tell people you're going to get that. But like confronting is when I say the number one trait, well, we said the number one trait for directors is the willingness to confront. What we're talking about is you're confronting problems, you're confronting employees, you're giving good feedback, you're giving bad feedback, you're giving whatever, nondescript feedback. It doesn't matter that you're always just willing to confront and you don't let things sit overnight, right?
Yeah.
From my favorite management book, The 1 Minute Manager, they have a whole page that just says, feedback is the breakfast of champions. I still believe it. I know we've already said it in this year's episodes at some point, but remember, willingness to confront. So we talked about 2 parts to being a strong leader this week. Part 2, the two ones we talked about were if you want to be a strong leader and lead from strength, you're going to have great knowledge. And the second one we talked about is the willingness to confront. I hope y'all put together some great action steps off of that, took away some nuggets. And, now I guess it's time to say goodbye to Neel. And kind of hit a couple of minutes of, hey, this is what Thad thinks. Adios, Neel. Appreciate your help. I hope your hair grows back for next episode. Bye. All right. Hey, time for your favorite part of What Thad Thinks, which is our a little moment to go over what Thad thinks. Sometimes it'll be something a little heavier. Sometimes it won't be. That's what we talked about tipping. And oh my gosh, I'd been sticking to my guns about the people I will not tip anymore. And I lied. Or I wimped out yesterday. I can't believe it. I'm so mad. So my son, he was playing baseball in Alabama with his college, and he sent me a text and said, "Dad, do you mind bringing me a sandwich from Jersey Mike's?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And plus, now that he's in college and I don't get to see him, I'll pretty much, if he said, "Get me a pony," I'd probably consider it. But he says, "Get me a sandwich." So I'm going to get a sandwich, bring it to the game to him. And I go to Jersey Mike's, and great sandwiches, by the way. Great, always clean facility, super fresh meats. They cut right in front of you. Same with their cheeses. It's a great sandwich place, but very expensive for a sandwich. I remember $5 foot longs and all that kind of fun stuff. Now, I went in there. I got to the end. Anyway, I got a great sandwich. 2 sandwiches, one for him, one for me. A foot long and a smaller. And 1 chip for me and 1 drink for me. Just him a sandwich. And I got to the end. Then it said not the 2 things. It said, "Will you round up for whatever charity?" And I said yes. I don't know why. Maybe I was just happy. And then it asked for a tip, and the guy was just standing there and turned the thing to me and said, "What's the tip?" And I wimped out again. And I gave them like $5. Anyways, 2 sandwiches, $46. I got to do something about this. I got to be stronger next time. I will be stronger next time. And so, hey, I think that's just going to tell you what I think this week. One great thing about this medium that I get to share my opinions on things and talk about serious topics and have a little bit of fun with it from time to time is one thing I like is to admit and say things that once I say them out into the ether or put them out there in the public like this, it gives you more incentive to not be a hypocrite and to stand on what you talk about. And so even though that's a light subject, I want to tell y'all that I didn't stand on what I said last week, and I want to be famous for it. I will listen to a guy that talked about commitment and discipline, and one way that he builds his discipline and commitment is to the more people he tells that he gets up at 4 a.m. and works out every day, the more he becomes famous for getting up at 4 a.m. and working out, the more he's going to make sure he damn sure does that every day. So I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to be famous for that I'm not tipping on those certain situations. I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to be better, and I'm going to let y'all know next time I get to do that. But I made it quick this week because I gave you 2 extra parts. But I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please, guys, keep subscribing, keep listening. We need more subscribers. We need more listeners. I need more reviews. We got a bunch, or we got a few at least. Last week from us begging, we sent out some gear to a few people. If there's some gear that you want that you didn't get, let me know. I mean, I can put our whole team on getting you something that you like. I do want to give a shout out to Better Beans and the job they did, and to the business owner, Jared Cook, out with Raising Arizona. They had a school that burned down, and they opened back up 2 weeks ago. Better Beans not only did the construction and managed the insurance process for them and also got them opened just 2 weeks ago, but Raising Arizona's got a great multi-unit brand, and I am super proud of them because it's easy to kind of lay down after something crazy like that happens to them. And so I think they have a cool name, Raising Arizona, and they had to literally get raised again. So that was pretty awesome. Please subscribe to us. Please listen. And fun. Okay. NCAA March Madness starts next Thursday, the 19th, is when your brackets will be due. But we're going to do a What Thad Thinks bracket challenge for you and for anybody that you want to jump in with you. There'll only be 1 entry per person. But me and Neel are putting up a big prize. Maybe the biggest part of it will be an official signed basketball by Neel and I and the What Thad Thinks podcast. We're going to sign it, autograph it, send that out to you, along with a $250 gift card coming your way. And we are allowing any of our big loyal listeners that would like to put something up from their company as additional prize. We're going to allow them to do that as well. So anyway, $250, no entry fee. The name of the group on ESPN is What Thad Thinks, 3 words. And the password is Neel. And remember, he spells it Neel. That's the password. What Thad Thinks, Neel. Go ahead and put your entry there. So looking forward to having lots of y'all on there and having a big time to talk trash and smack on there. Thank you for tuning in to What Thad Thinks. Give us reviews, give us likes. Share it with a friend, get us a subscriber, share your stories, and please keep letting us know what you're enjoying about the podcast. And we'll see you here in a week for part 3 of our series. Thank you. Adios.